Jaya Narasimha Dev, Jaya Narasimha Dev, Jaya Narasimha Dev, Jaya Narasimha Dev. Jaya Narahari, Jaya Narahari, Jaya Narahari, Jaya Narahari. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. विघ्न विनाशक नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय। भक्त से प्रहलाद महाराज की। गौर ब्रह्मानंदे हरे हरे।
Maybe substitutes today, so please bear with us. So go on the other side. All the kids who are registered kids. Someone who has kids who are not registered for Sunday's kids class, they should be in the reception, or they can be here, but as long as they don't make noise, so that we all can hear Krishna Katha. Mridang, can you play Mridang? Just from the Igna. Okay, we'll begin with the Yarada Madhava. We'll try to discuss from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, some Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sweet pastimes, as we are hearing a lot of Sri Radha Damodar, Yashoda Damodar. So I thought we'll hear some childhood pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so that we can be purified. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari. Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana. यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंजा विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंजा विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजना यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंजा विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंजा विहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि वो जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज का आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन गेसी भक्त वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज का आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन गेसी भक्त सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। आनंद कोटि वैष्णव बंधु की जय। नमाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त बंधु की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगामयी यमुनामयी की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Bo, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Guru and Gauranga, Prabhupada ki jai. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidhanam Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Ka Pracharan Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Destaran. Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you all for joining. Last one more day left for Kartik Damodar month, Urja Vrata. So tomorrow is Kartik Purnima. How to intensify our sadhana, how to increase our love and affection for Srila Prabhupada, previous acharyas by whom we are getting this mercy. So let's pray for the mercy before we start discussing Krishna Katha. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं देवतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। श्री रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। Can open Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, verse number 32. Bhishma Dev's prayers, as Bhishma Panchak going on, is one of the 12 Mahajanas. We'll just quickly read that verse and we'll see some interesting points. 1, 9. Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 9, the passing away of Bhishma Dev in the presence of Lord Krishna. Verse number 32. Lord Bhishma Dev's Mahajan Bhishma's prayers, submitting, full submission. 1:9:32. Canto 1, Chapter 9, verse number 32. Sri Bhishma Vacha. Before that, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hari Om Tat Sat. So we're reading from Canto 1, Chapter 9, verse number 32. I think, yeah, many of you can see from there. Sri Bhishma Vacha Iti Materupakalpita Vitrishna Bhagavati Satvata Pungave Vibhumni Swasukham upagate kvachid vihartum. Prakrutim upeyusi yad bhava pravaha. Sri Bhishma Vacha Iti Materupakalpita Vitrishna Bhagavati Sattvata Pungave Vibhumni Swasukham Upagate Kvachid Vihartum Prakrutim Upeyusi Yad Bhava Pravaha. Sri Bhishma Vacha Iti Materupakalpita Vitrishna Bhagavati Sattvata Pungave Vibhumni Swasukham Upagate Kvachid Vihartum Prakrutim Upeyusi Yad Bhava Pravaha. In the interest of time, already 6:51, word to word. Sri Bhishma Vacha. Sri Bhishma Dev said, Iti, thus, Mati, thinking, feeling, and willing. Important word, please note. Upakalpita, invested, is also important word. Vitrishna, freed from all sense desires. This is the most important word in this verse. Bhagavati, unto the personality of Godhead. Sattvata Pungave, unto the leader of the devotees. Vibhumni, unto the great. Swasukham, self-satisfaction. Upagate, unto he who has attained it. Kvachit, sometimes. Vihartum, out of transcendental pleasure. Prakrutim, in the material world. Upeyusi, do accept it. Yad bhava, from whom the creation. Prabhaha, is made and annihilated. Translation by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Bhishma Deva said, let me now invest my thinking, feeling, and willing, which were so long engaged in different subjects and occupational duties, in the all-powerful Lord Sri Krishna. He is always self-satisfied, but sometimes, being the leader of the devotees, he enjoys transcendental pleasure by descending to the material world, although from him only the material world is created. Please repeat. Bhishma Deva said, let me now invest my thinking, feeling, and willing, which are so long engaged in different subjects and occupational duties, in the all-powerful Lord Sri Krishna. Is always self-satisfied, but sometimes, being the leader of the devotees, he enjoys transcendental pleasure by descending to the material world, although from him only the material world is created. Quickly read the purport and then try to understand. Because Bhishma Dev was a statesman, the head of the Kuru dynasty, a great general and leader of Kshatriyas, his mind was strewn over so many subjects and his thinking, feeling, and willing were engaged in different matters. Isn't the case with us? Now, in order to achieve pure devotion service, he wanted to invest all powers of thinking, feeling, and willing entirely in the Supreme Being, Lord Krishna. He is described herein as the leader of the devotees and all-powerful. Although Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, he himself descends to earth to bestow upon his pure devotees the boon of devotion service. He descends sometimes as Lord Krishna as he is, and sometimes as Lord Chaitanya. Both are leaders of the pure devotees. Pure devotees of the Lord have no desire other than the service of the Lord, and therefore they are called Sattvata. The Lord is the chief among the such Sattvatas. Bhishmadev therefore had no other desires. Unless one is purified from all sorts of material desires, the Lord does not become one's leader. See that clear point. Desires cannot be wiped out, but they have only to be purified. It is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 10.10. Tesham satatayuktanam bhajitam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. By the Lord himself that he gives his instruction from within the heart of pure devotee who is constantly engaged in the service of the Lord. Such instruction is given, very important point Prabhupada is making here. Such instruction is given not for any material purpose, but for only for going back home, back to Godhead. Whom he will give that? For the ordinary man who wants to lord it over material nature, the Lord only sanctions and becomes a witness of activities. But he never gives the non-devotee instructions for going back to Godhead. You see that clear distinction. That is the difference in dealings by the Lord with different living beings, both the devotee and the non-devotee. He is the leader of all living beings. As the king of the state, rules both the prisoners and the free citizens. But his dealings are different in terms of the devotee and non-devotee. Non-devotees never care to take any instruction from the Lord. Therefore, the Lord is silent in their case. Although he witnesses all their activities and awards them the necessary results, good or bad. The devotees are above this material goodness and badness. They are progressive on the path of transcendence, and therefore they have no desire for anything material. The devotee also knows Sri Krishna is the original Narayana because Lord Sri Krishna by his plenary portion appears as the Karanodaka Sai Vishnu, the original source of all material creation. The Lord also desires the association of his pure devotees, and for them only the Lord descends to the earth and enlivens them. This is one of the reasons already been given in chapter 9, before chapter 8, in Kunti's prayers. Why Krishna appeared? That is one of the reasons Kunti Maharani is already giving this aspect of enlivening. The Lord appears out of his own will. He is not forced by the conditions of material nature. He is therefore described here as the Vibhu or the Almighty, for he is never conditioned by the laws of material nature. So here, Bhishmadev, in his previous life as Vasus, one of the 8 Vasus. So why did he become Bhishma? Because once they came to the earthly planet. While roaming around, they saw a beautiful cow, especially one of the Vasu's wife saw a beautiful cow, Kamadhenu, Vasishta's cow especially, Vasishta Muni's cow. And then she desired to have it. So then Vasus are not ordinary people, demigods. They want to steal it. So they want to take it. Then understanding Vasishta Muni was able to understand this aspect that they are about to steal. Then immediately comes to that place. Then seeing that he curses all the 8 of them. Then they repent and they ask for forgiveness. They ask for his mercy. Then he said, all right. But one thing is, one has to suffer. Out of 8, one has to suffer the reaction. So 7 will be able to take birth immediately and go back. Not much time. So as soon as they take birth and then they go back. But the 8th one person out of you has to suffer. Take birth and quite some time. Because all your 7 people suffering, he has to take, 8th person has to take. So since that also applies to, because the wife of Dvau, one of the Vasu's name is Dvau. His wife has done this, desired it with Krishna, as you see, desired it. Everybody is having some material desires, not so much spiritual desire, but material desires. So she also had this desire of taking away. As we read from Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada has told, system is everybody reads Srimad Bhagavatam in the morning, chants the holy name of the Lord in the morning, early in the morning, before you start anything. Then in the evening, Bhagavad Gita, before you sleep, Krishna book. In Krishna book, in the story of King Ruga, Prabhupada is making a serious point. Anybody who's touching or taking any property from a Brahmana, not only him, whole family and 14 generations can be affected, especially by forcibly taking from Brahmana. So this is Vasishtha Muni. Imagine what is the reaction. That's why especially Lord Krishna is very favorable, he is not pleased at all. One who is offending, one who is doing anything with Brahmanas or the cows. So that's why we have to be very extremely careful. So in this case, she is stealing. She didn't ask for permission. Even when we want remnants or dust from a lotus feet of pure devotee, ideal situation is just like Narada Muni, we have to beg for the mercy of the spiritual master, pure devotee of the Lord. So that is the etiquette. That's what Narada Muni followed. Here, she didn't ask anything. She just decided, oh, we are demigod, we can do whatever we want. So in that attitude, she has done it. And then obviously she has to face the repercussions. So both of them had to suffer. So especially Dvau, Vasu had to suffer. He had to come, and that's how he became Bhishmadev. 400 plus years he lived on this planet, and continued celibacy, but is one of the Mahajan, 12 Mahajanas. So coming to the instruction from here, we can see iti matir upakalpita vitrishna. So important point is vitrishna. How do we transfer the material desires into spiritual desires? How to transform. What is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita? So that is the crux of, I'm going back to Bhagavad Gita because that is the fundamentals. Prabhupada always discussed in Sunday feast class Bhagavad Gita. So let's go back to the fundamentals of Bhagavad Gita. What Krishna is teaching in introduction of Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada writes, out of 5 subject matters, there are 5 questions also should arise. 5 subject matters are Isvara, Jiva, Kala, Prakriti, Karma. How to transform the whole Bhagavad Gita's purpose is transform material activities into spiritual activities. That is the whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita. What questions should arise? So, and then many times people think that when you perform sinful activities, as it is mentioned, if one who is not a devotee, Lord Krishna is not giving any intelligence. So if you want to become a devotee, if you want to approach, even if you want to come to Krishna consciousness, you have to give up your sinful activity. Start giving up at least first layer of sinful activity. That's when you come. That's why you don't see thousands of people flocking in Krishna conscious temples. This is the reason. Esham antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam. Te dvanda moha nirmukta bhajante mam todavrata. So this is the reason. If you want to progress in devotion service, you have to start thinking about how to give up these unwanted desires, or how to transform into Krishna's desires, Krishna conscious desires. That's what we have to constantly think. So that's why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is teaching through Bhagavad Gita that how to transform. And then Prabhupada is instructing. Parikshit Maharaj himself is asking Sukadeva Goswami. People think that when we perform karma activities, I can just nullify. I perform simple activity, I'll perform some good activity, pious activity, activity of dharma, then I can nullify. But that is not possible. You can nullify and then again desires will sprout. Again and again this process is going on like a Manya Kunjara Sauchavat, elephant bath is going on. So that's why Parikshit Maharaj Sukadeva Goswami is addressing this point that if you want to completely nullify to zero material desires into spiritual desires, then we have to follow this instruction of Sukadeva Goswami. He is mentioning in 6th canto, karma niraharana atyantika iti ishyate, which means karmana, our activities. If you want to, niraharana means completely nullify, not only in this life, whatever bank balance is there from many lifetime sitting. It is not given, only some balance is given each life. If you want to nullify that whole thing, iti atyantika ishyate. It is impossible task. It's not easy task. Wow. So further it is mentioned that avidyate, avidyate, and then further it is mentioned that one who doesn't have a knowledge, one who is not inquiring about the knowledge, transcendental knowledge especially, then he will not be able to prayashchittam vimarshanam. One must inquire about the transcendental knowledge. One must inquire. If you don't inquire about transcendental knowledge, then Prabhupada quotes from Kena Upanishad. There are 5 questions one must ask. If you want to progress in devotion service, one must ask these 5 questions. Why we are here in this material world? Where we have come from? Where we have to go after leaving this body? Just like Bhishmadev is thinking, he want to transport himself from this material world into spiritual world. So he already has realized it. This is a temporary place. He wants to go to the permanent, eternal place. So that's why we have to understand this question of where we have to go at the end of leaving this body. Anta kalecha mameva smaran muktva kalevram yah prayad samadbhavam yati nasti atra samsaya. One who thinks of the Lord, then he will attain him. There is no question of. And then further, anybody thinking something else, yam yam vabi smaran bhavam tajati ante kalayavram tam tam yevaiti kaunte sada tad bhava bhavita. You can there are people who say that anything and everything you can chant and anything and everything you can worship, you will attain the same result. That's not the case. Lord Krishna is clearly distinguishing that. If you worship, if you think of me, you will attain me. If you don't think of me, but you do something else, then you are going to attain that only. So just like Bharat Maharaj, even at the highest stage of Bhava, he was thinking of a deer. What did he become? He has to take the deer body. But obviously, his case is different. He is not at our level. Because of prarabdha karma, Lord wantedly, he extended, he want to increase his attachment to Krishna. That's why he did that in Bharat Maharaj's case. But that's not the case with all of us. He's an elevated personality in Bharat Maharaj's case. So that's why one must have these questions of why we are here in this material world, where we will go, and why we are suffering in this material world. And why we have to go through the birth, death, old age, disease. These are the 5 questions answered or talked about in one of the Upanishad, Kena Upanishad. And there are also 5 levels of consciousness one must come to. Because many times we are not at the highest level of consciousness. So that's why we have to focus. We have to understand this, how this consciousness is working, how the mind and intelligence and senses are dragging us away into material desires. Trishna has to become with Trishna. Asat Trishna has to become with Trishna. Asat Trishna means which is temporary, which is impermanent. So which is going to give cause of suffering. Where it is mentioned, ya sansparsaja boga dukkha yonava evate adi antavanta ramate buddha. Konte ramate buddha. So as beginning to end, you engage in, you will only see a distress, miserable conditions in this life and next life also, as you contemplate on material objects. But if the same thing you contemplate for use of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna and Guru, then everything will transform from material activities and spiritual activity. You don't need to give up desires, but we have to transfer the desires into spiritual desires. So that's why there are 5 levels of consciousness, as Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur answers that, and is also, Sri Prabhupada quotes in some places. There are 5 levels. First consciousness is at the level of trees, which is avrutta consciousness, which is achedana consciousness. That means completely covered up. Because as human beings also sometimes we act like a tree. Tree means completely covered up, completely ignorant of the fact. Ignorance is bliss. But the reactions, you have to suffer more lifetimes, many more lifetimes, if you are constantly in that position of ignorance. Covered consciousness. We have to move away from this avrutta consciousness to next level. No, we have to come to the 5th level. Second consciousness level is the birds, the aquatics, and other living entities, which is sankuchita consciousness, which means contracted consciousness. They have little consciousness, but it is not at the higher level. Then we have to come to the even further 3rd level, which is mukulita Chetana, which is budding consciousness. Budding consciousness. This is human beings as. But you have to utilize your minute independence and minute free will choice to hear This is the important point. If you want to transfer from material desire to spiritual desire, you have to hear. Why? Why you have to hear? Especially why you have to chant and hear, why you have to hear Krishna Katha. Golokera Pramadana Harinam Sankirtan. Because it has come from spiritual world. This is not a material sound. Not only that, how did the material world creation happen? It is through the sound vibration. So if the material creation itself has happened through sound vibration, they call Big Bang theory. The sky and the sound, it appeared, ether appeared first. So when Lord Mahavishnu glances, as Prabhupada is quoting Karanodaya Sai Vishnu here. So the same way, so that's why sound is the only thing which can help transformation in our heart. If you don't hear, no possibility. There are big distributors. Sometimes devotees fell down from their position. It doesn't mean they are going to lose Krishna consciousness, what they have done. They will continue, maybe this life or a few lifetimes after. They will be born as human beings, they will continue. But why to take a chance? Why to go through so much? So rather we have to become serious and follow and hear. If you just simply do every service but you don't hear, then it's going to be a problem. You simply hear but you don't do service, but you are not really getting the taste. It is not sinking into the heart. That means after hearing, if you have understood thoroughly, that means you have to apply it. Practical application. Otherwise, it is just jnana. What you will do with jnana? It has to become realized. Jnana has to become vijnana. That's when actually Lord Krishna is teaching, giving instructions. We don't apply it. How he is going to give intelligence? This is what I like. This is what I like you to do. Cooking or offering or garlands or dressing, whatever. He is addressing, he is instructing within the heart. If you have a desire, sincere desire. If you don't have, then he is covering that. He is not giving any instruction whatsoever. You are simply hearing, but your mind is not there. You are not really taking that instruction or putting into practice. So that's why Parikshit Maharaj himself is telling in 2nd canto, 8th chapter, Sranotam Sraddhaya Nityam Grunanti Swachestitam. There it is mentioned, your endeavor must be there to take seriously into the heart. Then Kalena na Ati Dirgena, then Bhagavan Visate Hrudi. Immediately, very quickly, very rapidly, Lord will be communicating with you, with the living entity. Only when you endeavor, really endeavor. So really endeavor. 15 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. Our Acharya, Sri Prabhupada disciples, they hear 2 hours, 3 hours, sometimes even more. They are hearing constantly, even though they are at the exalted position. But we are not taking any instruction. We are not following. How we are going to progress? If you don't follow the previous acharyas, you can't progress. That hearing, that's why Prabhupada's, what is his Prabhupada's hobby? What did he mention? What is his hobby? Hearing Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Prabhupada is my hobby. That means he's constantly hearing. That's how he got initiated. When he was always sitting in front of his guru and hearing, whether he understood or not understood. This is the first and foremost quality we have to develop, whether we like it or not like it, initially mechanical, but you have to sit. I don't like, I'll go out when the class begins. I'll come back when prasadam comes, or I'll come. It's all right, no problem. You start with anything in Krishna consciousness, everything is blissful. But idea is, if you want to transform more and develop taste, then you have to hear. You have to mechanically obey senses, whether you like it or not like it. Theoretically, you have to start. In the introduction, Prabhupada is making that clear point. Theoretically, you must accept Krishna. So that's why hearing, everywhere this hearing is mentioned clearly. So much it is mentioned. Even in Chaitanya Charitamrita also it is mentioned as Gauranga Mathura Katha Sunle. What is that? Karna, I forget the verse. It beautifully mentioned that how our Hridaya Nirmala Beletar. This is in the one of the song. Gauranga Mathura Katha Sunle Nirmala Beletar. Hridaya Nirmala Beletar. Automatically as you hear Gaura Katha, Nityananda Katha, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Krishna Katha, then your heart will be purified from impurities. So that's why here it is mentioned, Grananti Swachestitam. If you want to move away from this budding consciousness, from the Avrita consciousness to Sankuchita consciousness to budding consciousness, Mukulita consciousness, then further you have to go up, which is further is Vikasita consciousness, which is bubbling consciousness. And further you have to go Purna Vikasita Chetana. The fifth level is highest level. When we come to the highest stage of Krishna consciousness, then we will be at the pure stage of consciousness. So now, how that's why in the Parikshit Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami is instructing karmana karma niraharana prayachittam vimarshanam. That prayachittam vimarshanam means you must take to the hearing transcendental knowledge regularly. You look at the chapter 3, Bhagavad Gita, and chapter 4, what is Krishna is instructing. At the end of, after telling all about vikarma, akarma, karma, karma means prescribed duty, vikarma means against scriptural injunctions, against the rules, what is given by the codes given in the Shastra, sadhu and guru. And then akarma is following exactly what Lord is willing, Lord is desiring, what is Guru is desiring, exactly doing that. That's what you have. That is akarma. There is no reaction, there is no bondage for that. But vikarma has a reaction, and akarma also has reaction. You have to come still back to this material world. So, but at the end of third chapter, Krishna is mentioning that you must sharpen your intelligence by spiritual strength and spiritual intelligence. Where it will come? If you don't hear, how will you sharpen your intelligence? How will your mind will be conquered? How can you subdue your senses? There is no way you can subdue. That's why Prabhupada has to tell every class, every minute, whether you like it or not like. Sometimes it's too strong. You're not the body. Constantly, because we have to remind it ourselves. Otherwise, you'll keep committing the same mistakes again and again, just like Manya Kunja Sauchavat. That's why every day morning you listen to Srila Prabhupada. Then that strong words only, it has to sink into the heart. Then we will apply. Then we will transform. Until that, we will not change our behaviors. It's very difficult to change your behaviors unless you hear the word directly from the mouth of the pure devotee and in the association of devotees. You will not change. We will not change this consciousness. It's very, very difficult. Yasahi swabhavasya tasyaso duratikrama. Yudhishthira Maharaj's case, it is mentioned. It's very difficult to change our consciousness, behaviors we are bringing from our upbringing and our unwanted association. So that's why we have to move away from this one consciousness, lowest consciousness to highest consciousness by absorbed in this Krishna conscious hearing. Obviously chanting and hearing, and also hearing Krishna Katha from Bhagavad Gita. So karma niraharano, and then further it is mentioned that it is not possible unless you do the prayachittam vimarshanam. You must inquire. You must submissively submit to the spiritual master and ask question, how I can progress? These are the anarthas I have. How can I progress? What can I do with the time, place, circumstance in this current situation? How can I do? If Guru is not available, then you have to ask, submit to his representative. You cannot understand Shastra by directly. Just like in Bhishma Pitama's case itself, so many questions people have, thoughts. Bhishma Pitama had to fight on the other side. There is another instruction also from Bhishma Pitama is the niyamagraha. There are rules and regulations. Don't caught up too much with rules and regulations. When Draupadi's disrobing is happening, he was caught up with too much into rules and regulations of aspect of, I am eating their grains of Kauravas. I shouldn't say anything. Or too much, because they, even though when the husband already has given 5 Pandavas, they already bet themselves. Then he already lost. The Draupadi doesn't need to separately be bet again. But this is Shakuni's idea. And this is all done on the immoral basis, as Duryodhana is supposed to do it, but Shakuni is doing on behalf of Duryodhana. That itself is immoral. So that's why this is niyamagraha. When we perform devotion service, we have to carefully understand. Don't be caught up too much into rules. Rules are important, but we have to understand the sensitivities. We have to understand the purpose. What is the purpose of chanting? What is the purpose of particular service, and how to deal with devotees, how to deal with each and every situation sensitively. Sensitively is very important. If you are too much caught up with the rules, then no one will come to do service. Rules, you have to give some lenience has to be given, like Srila Prabhupada has given. Yes, obviously we have matured. Maybe there are so many facilities has been given. In the beginning, there was no facilities. That's why Prabhupada relaxed so many rules. But still there, because we are not at the highest consciousness, so we have all coming with the baggage. Even when we come to temple, when we dress the deity, when we dress the Prabhupada, we do so many offenses. So, but we have to, take it slowly and steadily and take instruction how to improve. Constantly, you have to pray sincerely to Srila Prabhupada and Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Without their mercy, you cannot understand how to do service better. You cannot improve. You cannot progress. Combinedly, we can't progress. Minute you minimize the service of Lord and Guru and Sri Prabhupada, if you don't think of improvement, we will not improve. Our consciousness will never improve because we are not thinking of them. We are constantly thinking of these material desires. Krishna is second priority. Sri Prabhupada is second priority. We have all other priorities in the front, 4 line. So that we have to transport. We have to transfer slowly and gradually. We have to make an effort, serious effort. Otherwise, Grunanti swa chestitam. Without seriously endeavoring for it, it is not going to happen. We are bound with chains of this material Maya. So that's why we have to take it very seriously. That's what Damodar Lila also teaching us. Krishna is teaching us. He is bound. You are also, Baba, bound in this material world. Get up, wake up. Already enough sleeping. Kartik month is going on. You wake up. At least last day, one more day is there. Wake up, better wake up 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 5:30, whatever. At least try to wake up and chant. This is the opportunity given, great opportunity. Don't lose it. Thousands of mercy is there available, especially in the last day, especially Kartik Purnima is even more powerful, last day of Kartik. So please try to wake up. You can sleep after. Prabhupada said, if you are staying at the temple, you better wake up and chant. You better come to Mangalar. This instruction. It's not easy to do, but we have to wake up. How will you wake up? Only if you constantly hear. Every day your dose is given. Just like a diseased person, diseased patient goes to doctor. Doctor gives prescription. You have to follow when you have serious disease. If you don't do it, you will do it because you are in fearful of leaving this body. You are fearful of that condition. That's why you'll do. Here there is no fear. If I don't do tomorrow, what will happen? I will do some other day. I will do after a few months. We'll become lazy, complacent. We take it for granted. Guru's initiation means it is just a beginning. How much serious we have to be. That is what real initiation means. Hearing from Guru and following. Note down the points and apply it. If you are hearing a class, if you don't apply, then it's just simply going from this year to that year. What is the use? That's why Grunanti swa chestitam. Srunvanti. Grunanti swa chestitam. Then only Bhagavan Visate Hrudi. Until you hear with this rapt attention and taking that instruction in the form of responsibility. Again, Damodar Lila also is teaching. Yasodama is taking responsibility. Why she has to work and make a yogurt, make a butter? Why? Why she has to do? She has so many servants. Somebody else can do. Why Rukmini has to fan, chamar? Why she has to feed Krishna? She doesn't need to do, but she is doing. Why? Because you have to. If you have love, you will do service. If you don't have love, why will you do service? You don't do service. You love, you serve your kids because you have love. But what happened to the deity? What happened to the Acha Vigraha sitting on your home, at your temple? Because you don't have love. You have artificial feelings. You don't have real feelings. You don't, we are not serious enough. So this is what initiation means. This is what the questioning of this Prayashchittam Vimarshana means. This is the inquiry one must have. When we are coming to temple means to liberate. Devalaya means to liberate. If you want to progress and liberate from this place, then you must inquire seriously. I will inquire after a few years when Krishna desired. That's what Dhritarashtra also thought. That's what Duryodhana also thought. Then it is not going to happen. It is not when Krishna desires. It is when your free will is given, minute independence is given. But what are you doing with it? How you are going to utilize it? That's where everything is there. So that's when Krishna gives. If you are thinking 1% of Krishna, that's when Krishna will start giving instruction, either through directly as Chaitanya Guru, or through some other devotees, or through Sri Prabhupada lectures. Somehow or the other, Krishna will make arrangement. Only if you are showing some inclination. That's why iti matir upakalpita. If there is no thought process, there is no contemplation, there is no hearing, then where is the question of vitrishna? It is simply asatrishna. How will you transport yourself from asatrishna to vitrishna? There is no question. So that's why you have to hear regularly. At home and at temple when you come. When class is going on, there shouldn't be. If you are engaged in service, busy in service. But be here in the class. No chit-chatting. This is not the purpose. This is not the Srila Prabhupada system. Kirtan also Prabhupada has given various standards specifically. Don't prolongate your Kirtan. More you give Hare Krishna Mahamantra specifically, those words of Hare Krishna Mahamantra within the chanting, within your Kirtan. Don't prolong it too long. More you put in the actual words of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that is the best Kirtan. He has told, Prabhupada has told Vishnu Jan Maharaj, when he is singing so long tunes, said, It's better you try to bring it to the regular. That's a Prabhupada. Even if somebody chanting so many tunes, everybody audience can repeat in one way. Otherwise, it is complicated, especially in a temple setting. We should chant in a simple tune so that people can follow. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Some people cannot catch it. So that's a Prabhupada's. You hear Prabhupada's Kirtan, you can see mostly 2 or 3 tunes in most other places. He will chant. Specifically, is concentrating on the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Nothing else. No long tunes you will hear. So that's why we have to be careful. Everything we have to hear from Sri Prabhupada. What Prabhupada said in his books, in his letters, everything we have to hear. If you don't read Prabhupada's books, then you don't know what is Dharma, what is Adharma. You will be caught up with the Niyama Agraha only. So that's why everything is can be only clearly understood, this Prayaschittam Vimarshanam, by concentrating on hearing from mouth of the pure devotee, spiritual master, Sri Prabhupada and his disciples. More you hear and more you hear in the association of devotees, then you will understand why Lord performed Damodar Leela, how we can be relieved from this bondage, just like Yasodamai is bound Krishna, how he can control. He can relieve your bondage by hearing about this Damodar Leela or any other Krishna Leela or Gaur Leela, or Ram Leela. There is no problem. You can hear any of those. In this way, you can see that he's poking the holes because our heart has holes. So many instructions. Damodar Leela is full of instruction from different angles of vision. Damodar Leela, as he's performing stealing, he wants to steal our hearts, but we don't want it. We don't want Krishna to come and steal. We are afraid. Oh, he's going to take away everything. That is what we are afraid of. Those who are ready to offer themselves, then that's where Krishna is instructing them. They are not afraid. Krishna, what he will take, he has everything. So only in the case of pure devotees, Prabhupada case, he has done that. But it is not going to happen for each and everyone. So that we have to be fully submit. As Bhishmadev is submitting after 400 years of tapasya austerity. That is another thing. Austerity must be done not for the body, not for the mind, but actually austerity should be done for the soul of waking up early in the morning. You sleep after 2 hours of chanting, you sleep 2 hours, no problem. First you finish your chanting. Even if you have less sleep, fine. Prabhupada said, when my Guru Maharaj asked Prabhupada, we are busy in construction, how will we finish chanting? Prabhupada said, you work 16 hours, 20 hours, but you finish 2 hours chanting, then you can sleep even 2 hours, that's fine. But you should finish chanting. That is the first and topmost priority. Everything what we are doing, for whether doing service, whatever service we are doing, or hearing, but it is ultimately to develop taste for chanting. Because that's what Yasodama is doing. 24/7, singing the glories of the Lord, hearing. And that's what all the pure devotees are constantly doing. Always remembering Krishna, contemplation, thinking, feeling, willing. That's what Bhishmadev is fully 100% is submitting. Not a single percent is left to some other material things. Is 100% focused submission. This is what we need to come to. But it's a gradual progress. That's why Krishna is instructing again and again. Abhyas, practice it. Don't wait till the end, last moment. We don't know how much we have time. So that's why we have to start practicing today. Tonight, after going home, we should read Krishna book. That is the practice we have to start today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait when the problem comes. So the realized person, the perfect person, those who are intelligent, they will not wait for the problem to come. They will start today instead of waiting till tomorrow. So this is the instruction from Bhishmadev is coming, serious instruction. Please transport yourself from material desires and spiritual desires by submitting to the pure devotees, Satvata Pungave. Then only Krishna will give instruction. If you don't submit to pure devotees, you are not in the association of devotees, he will not give you the realization. He will not reveal his instructions. He will not reveal. So that's where the problem is. So that's why we have to take this association seriously and chant and hear more and more, concentrating on the vibration, sound vibration. So then we can come to this Vitrishna stage. 7:28 already. So I think we'll stop here. I thought we'll discuss Gaur Katha for a few minutes, but we haven't even covered. So any questions, big questions? Anyone has any questions, comments, reflections, corrections? Please feel free. Yes, go ahead, Mat. Because Bhishma Dev, why did he fight on the other side is because of the chivalrous ras. This is one of the 7 secondary rasas, 5 primary rasas. And yeah, that's what I'm coming to. But everybody else has to understand what's going on with Bhishma Dev. Why did he fight on the other side? Then he's going back to, because Vishnu Loka, Vaikuntha Loka, is worshipping Lord Krishna in the form of 400 Narayana form, and he's seeing, he wants to see Krishna in this chivalrous ras, and he wants to see that basically. Yeah, that's why Lord is sweating and is running toward Bhishma Dev. That's when he saw that's what he wanted to see, and then he was satisfied. So that's when he went back to Vaikuntha, basically. So in that rasa, chivalrous ras, Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki jai, Shri Jagannath Baldev Sudarman Sri Sudarshan ki jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Panch Tattva ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. As far as I know, he went to the Vaikuntha, but I'll have to check and confirm whether he went to Golok Vrindavan or not. That I'm not. Because in this case, I think as far as I remember, is 400 Narayana form. That is his meditation, as far as I remember. But we can check Acharya's commentary and see and confirm. But definitely went back to Vaikuntha Loka in this rasa, specific rasa, chivalrous ras. Is not in the 5 primary rasa of Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya. Any other questions? Comments? Corrections? Okay, we'll conclude. Gandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktavrinda ki jai. We'll have quick announcements. Thank you. Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Vaishnavanda ki jai. So quick announcements. Today's Sunday feast is sponsored by Damodar Vilas Prabhu and Alka Mataji and family. I think so far that's the only one family. Anybody else like to sponsor? Being last 1 more day is there. And tomorrow, last day of Kartik, we have program 7 to 9. Kartik Rasa Purnima, beginning day Sharad Purnima, last day is Rasa Purnima. So the deep pastimes, but at least we should understand. Last day of Kartik, you can break the fast if you are doing Bhishma Panchaka after sunset, or next day morning after sunrise on Tuesday morning. From Varadal also, it is better you do, because after so much fasting, not taking that whole grain, it takes more time to digest. It's not good practice to do. So you break next day morning, Tuesday morning after sunrise with Urad dal, if you like to have Urad dal as we fasted. But otherwise, after sunrise, after sunset and moonrise, that's when Bhishma Panchak fasting should be broken. Tomorrow evening, there are Sunday feast sponsors also. There is feast sponsor tomorrow evening program. If anybody would like to still now also offer diyas. In India, this is a Vedic culture where you offer 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 the diyas with those wicks. Within one diya or multiple diyas you offer for the pleasure of Lord. This is a Vedic culture. Basically, just like Damodar, the whole pastime is every day you offer. But that day, because of the Purnima, more. You want to offer your whole body, mind, soul. So that is the idea. So please join if you can tomorrow evening. And we'll have Damodar Ashtakam at 8:30. You can honor Krishna Prasad. And then December 3rd is Saturday is Gita Jayanti. Very, very important day. December 3rd. Yeah, December 3rd, Saturday, we'll have Gita Yajna. We'll be chanting all the 700 plus verses as we just discussed also from Gita chapter 3 last. Evam buddhe param buddha samstabhya atmanam jaisatru mahabaho kamaropadarasat. Sharpen your intelligence. So that's why we have to take seriously Gita. Please distribute Gita to others because this is the time of book marathon. Mayapur already has taken sankalpa of distributing books. Already started. So we should also try to think, meditate how we can start and distribute books. This is the mission of Sri Prabhupada. This is the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So let us try to contemplate on that with our Sankirtan leaders, Srimasa Prabhu, and see how we can all collectively together please Sri Prabhupada and our authorities and previous acharyas and Lord Nityananda Prabhu. I think those are the quick announcements. Any other announcements? Prabhu's? That's it, right? Yes, yeah, 7 to 9, yeah. So we are always open to do Kirtan programs, even not only in the Damodar month, but if anybody would like to host a Kirtan program, please reach out to one of us, Simeza Prabhu, Jai Prakash Prabhu, myself, Harikish. So many devotees are there. Please reach out. So we are happy to. That is our mission of Srila Prabhupada. So not just Kartik, but anytime if you like to do Kirtan program, so we are ready to try to help in that way. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.